Your eyes, the sensory organs that enable you to see. The eye is considered the lamp of the body as well as the window to the soul. Eye conditions can change rapidly during childhood. Regular eye vision checks can help to identify issues at an early stage.
Once more, you're welcome to Shantia's Haven. We are in the period of World Sight Day. Okay. We're in the period of World Sight Day. That's why you see me in this office. I'm here with Professor Duvoma Vaula. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Shantia's Haven.
Welcome to Shantia's Haven. We are so honored to have you, to have squeezed time from your busy schedule to have this interview with us. We understand that this is a season for World Sight Day, and the theme for this year, Love Your Children's Eyes. That's what caught my attention because on Shantia's Haven is about the family, it's about parenting. And if we are doing that, it should be about everything concerning the children, the child. So when you talk of love your children's eyes, what do you actually mean, Professor?
Thank you, Shantia, for having me on the show. Greetings to you out there. The World Sight Day is a day which was set aside by the World Health Organization to raise awareness on the necessity to fight against blindness and to preserve our sight, because sight is the most essential thing we have. Because as we know, most of the external stimuli from our environment come from the fact that we see. So it's very important this year. The theme was centered around loving your children's eyes. Why so? Because children are important to us, as you say. I'm happy because in Shantia's Haven, you look at the family, you look at all of that. Our children's eyes are important because if they don't have good eyesight, they can't go to school. If they don't have good sight, they can't do well in school. Some children actually repeat classes just because they cannot see well on the board. And then if a child gets blind, it's a burden for the family, not only for the child, for the family, for the entire community. So we need to do everything we can to improve our children's eye health and fight against childhood blindness.
Thank you, Professor. You've talked about improving our children's eye. We have to be conscious. How I'm a parent and I don't know much about eyes and children. How do I know that there is something wrong with my child's eye?
I would like to say that as parents, you know what is normal and you know what is not normal. If you see anything that you worry about, take the child to an eye care specialist. That's the first thing to do. The instincts of the parents, we always listen to them and they speak for themselves. But besides that, if you see anything abnormal like the child's eyes discharging, tearing up, the child's hiding the eyes from light, a child who does not follow objects, I'm talking about newborn here, a child who does not look at the mother, because we all know that a newborn by the age of 3 months should be able to fixate the mother's face. So if you have a child who is not fixating the mother's face, that's a problem. Then you look at the eyes too. If you see anything which is abnormal, a little dot in the eye, something, the eye swollen, just anything that you think is abnormal, it's better to do out of excess than to miss something that could lead to blindness.
I like that. It's better to do out of excess than to miss out and you lose your child's eye because you just stayed at home and tried to do it on your own at home. So let us pay attention to the children's eyes. I will take us a little bit from the home to the second home of the child, the school. What advice will you also give to teachers concerning their pupils in class?
Thank you. Teachers are stakeholders as far as preventing blindness in children is concerned, because the children spend much of the time in school and the teachers can actually notice some things that are abnormal. They can go from things like child who is not writing well, who has poor handwriting, child who does not follow up to copy the notes because the child cannot see. Sometimes the children complain, but you know, not all children complain. A child might just be quiet in class because he cannot see the board. So it's important for those teachers to reach out to those children to find out why they are quiet, why they are not participating. It might not just be the fact that the child does not see well on the board. And if you notice anything abnormal, even a deviating eye, eye that does not fixate straight ahead, sometimes the parents don't notice. It's the teacher who calls for the attention of the parents. Look, this child's eye is deviating, what we call strabismus in other terms. It is a problem. So sometimes it is the teachers that call the attention of the parents before the parents can actually take the child to the hospital. So the teachers actually play a great role. I want to commend them on that.
So, dear parents, when the teacher of your child calls your attention to these things, please pay attention to it and take action. And even when your child complains, don't give a flimsy excuse like, "Oh, you just want to put on lenses. You just want." Does it mean that every child who has a problem with the eye must put on lenses?
Not necessarily, but if it is necessary, it is important. I would like to explain that vision is not a perfect thing,
Okay.
right? Vision is something which is developed. So when a child is born, the child does not have the optimal vision yet.
Okay.
So it is important for the child to have good visual experience for the vision to develop.
Okay.
So if glasses are prescribed for the child, don't turn it down. Don't say the child wants to appear bourgeois or things like that. No, because there's an age during which the vision has to develop, and past that age, you might not be able to gain what has been lost.
Okay.
That is why it's very important to stimulate vision by having nothing that obstructs the visual axis and by having good image on the retina, which means if the child needs to wear glasses, put on the glasses. It helps stimulate the retina so that the vision can develop, because vision is actually an active process, and vision develop can also be lost during early childhood. So it's very important for that process during which the brain is still developing to follow up the development, maintenance, and consolidation of the child's vision.
Thank you very much. Because growing up, we used to know that those who put on glasses are the children, like you said, the bourgeois children, those who live in fenced houses, who speak English, who want to be a certain class. So it's important, as you've heard parents, that this vision is, if it is necessary for your child to put on glasses, do buy it for that child after consultation. Now we have seen cases where, like when I was in secondary school, there were some cases of children, of stories. I don't know if it's verified. I've never seen one, but I only heard that some children would take Gary water and drop in their eyes so that they can go home on exit. They can go home. Maybe they have their parties in town and they want to attend. They want to do things. So, what are some of these things that we should watch out for as parents? Or we can also talk, because some teenagers do watch these episodes that can help their eyes. That is man created problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go back to the topic on which you ended, to give an anecdote, I have a colleague, I have a friend, not actually a colleague, but a friend and a long-time sister,
Okay.
whom when the children had been complaining, she was not paying attention to, and when she finally brought the children and I prescribed them glasses, the children were not seeing. I was like, how have you been managing? And she was like, oh, this takes me back to the days when we were in secondary school, when we thought that glasses were for rich people's children. I said, so now, madam, you're a rich woman. You say your children have to wear glasses. So all those stereotypes, we need to take them, we need to forget about them and concentrate on what is important for the child's eye care.
Yeah.
You asked about things that we shouldn't do in order not to create eye problems and in order not to worsen existing eye problems. It's very important to start by saying that please don't do any form of auto medication to your eyes.
Okay.
Be it natural or the ones you buy by the roadside or the ones you buy by the pharmacy. Some are dangerous because the eye needs to be examined under the microscope. It's very important. Even when someone sends a picture of their eye to me as an eye specialist and say, oh, I woke up this morning, my eye was red. I'm like, I need to examine that eye under the microscope.
Okay.
Red eye can come from many causes. Okay. And if you don't look at the eye under the microscope, you might miss certain causes that might blind you. Right? So it's very important for people to know that if you have a problem with your eye, you should have that eye checked by a specialist who will examine you under the microscope. Examining microscope, not just by looking at the eye like that or looking at the picture.
Okay.
Then we need to avoid certain habits like the use of salt water, sugar water, lemon water, lime water, onions juice, breast milk, and all whatnot. Yeah, we hear that from patients a lot.
Yes,
onions
I
juice.
did not only hear, we grew up seeing that.
Yeah, no, please, you really need to avoid using those things putting those things in your eyes. And just to say, during the last epidemic of conjunctivitis is supposed to be a simple problem, but we had patients that lost their eyes because they put things in their eyes that caused a burn.
Oh no.
I had a young man who is bilaterally blind in both eyes because he put fuel. Yeah, he was asked to put fuel from the petrol station and he dropped fuel into his eye and it caused an eye burn. So those things you put you don't know the concentration, you don't know the pH, you don't know anything about it. So all those concoctions is really better to stay away from them. If the worst come to the worst, you can take serum from the pharmacy, just a normal serum, physiologic serum, and just wash the eye, and then you go to have the eyes checked properly before the doctor will decide what you need to use into the eyes. So really avoid putting things into your eyes. And also, it's important to note that some of those things can transmit diseases. For example, if you take the breast milk of your neighbor and put into your child's eye, you know breast milk transmits diseases. Hepatitis, HIV, and other types of diseases are transmitted by breast milk. Those are body fluids.
And this disease is not written on the face. You will not know who has. That's true.
So it's really better to avoid using such methods.
I heard of a story of somebody with eye issues caused by some strong drink or something. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I talk about that, I want to complete what I just said by the use of contact lens. Since you mentioned the fact that there are many youths, adolescents who are going to watch this, please avoid wearing contact lenses, even if it's for aesthetical reasons. We have seen the dangers of people using contact lenses, severe eye infections that lead to eye destruction. Sometimes you don't only lose your vision, but you might lose the eye as well. So those are things you really want to stay, because sometimes the hygienic techniques are not really implemented. You have infections, you have dust particles that go under the lens, infections, bacteria, germs, and all of that can just destroy the eye totally and lose vision. Yeah, about strong drinks is very important. Because I also had a young guy who was brought to me, and he was bilaterally blind, and the uncle was like shocked when I told him that the child will not be seen again because they drank alcohol. They kept it away from the uncle, and when the side effects began, there were systemic side effects like vomiting, body pains. He was just hiding in the room, and the uncle thought it was malaria. Not knowing that is a consequence of that alcohol that the child had taken, and then it also affects the eyes. So those are toxic alcohols, some forms of alcohol, especially those that are not well brewed. The ones you just buy from, I don't know, the sachets, some of those sachets, some of the bottles even. You don't know the process. That is why, legislation is clear on that. You see alcohol that is sold in certain places with certain barcodes and certain, those means they are verified and traceable. But sometimes you go and buy cheaper ones at the roadside, in bars and drinking spots, and then they take them during the youth alcohol parties, and they find themselves blind. And usually it's irreversible blindness, because that form of alcohol is called methanol. It's very toxic to the optic nerve and destroys the nerve.
Parents, guardians, please, let's watch our children. Talk to them about these things. Even this alcohol they take, they should be careful, like Professor has just said to us here. It's World Sight Day, and we are loving the eyes of our children by making sure that we take them to the hospital when necessary, making sure that we don't do auto medication on our children, and also making sure that we advise them. Why not even gather your children this evening or anytime, put them together and talk to them about this, or you want to play this video for them to watch so they can learn also by themselves. They will pick out some things there that you may not have picked out, and it will help their future and their eyes. Because you don't want to have a child who was not blind from the beginning and just suddenly becomes blind. It's going to be a whole process. It will be like bending a strong tree. You may break that tree, that child may break. Now, when you find out a case where the child is already in this matter, there are some people who are already victims and they can't see anymore. What do you advise the parents to do to those children?
Okay, for those who are having eye problems, that are having visual problems, it's important for them to come and have the eyes checked and have a correct diagnosis, because what is important is diagnosis, because we have two types of blindness, if I may say, or low vision or visual impairment. If I may say, any form of visual impairment. You have those that are treatable, those that are preventable, and those that cannot be prevented. For example, if you have a hereditary disease and stuff like that, is important. Another thing which is very important for the eyes of children, mothers during pregnancies, please make sure you do the tests that are required and you're monitored during pregnancy, because some infections in the mothers that are left untreated are transmitted to the child in the womb and can cause an infection in the child's eyes, which might lead to blindness. or other complications that might lead to blindness.
Wow.
You might have the retina might be affected, the optic nerve might be affected. You might have congenital cataract that stem from those infections that are acquired during pregnancy or that were there before and that were not treated and that were transmitted to the child inside the womb. So it's very important for mothers to have their pregnancies checked and treated so that the child's eyes are not also affected.
Wow, thank you very much, Professor Dovuma Vaula, for this time that you've accorded us. And I believe this has really been educative to so many viewers out there. What last word would you have for our parents?
Thank you, Chancellor's Haven. Please, dear parents, be vigilant.
Okay.
Look at your children's eyes. If you have any worry, do not hesitate. Don't say it will go away. Don't say it's not serious. Don't say it's not that bad. Don't always listen to the other people in the communities, because I know that societal pressure that people feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a child comes in, the child has congenital cataract and the child needs an urgent surgery because, as I explained before, vision develops because of visual experience.
Yeah.
If there's no visual experience, there's no vision. So there's a time in which you need to do that surgery in that baby so that the retina is stimulated. So if you have a congenital cataract and it's not operated within the few weeks or the first few months of life, then you grow into adulthood and you're blind and there's nothing anybody can do about it. But when you tell the parents this is what you need to do, sometimes when they go back to the community and they explain other things to them, oh, if your child's eye will be operated, no, don't be scared of surgery. This is going to be done by professionals and you need to trust them, because if you don't do anything, then you're sure the child is going to be blind and there's nothing you can do about it. But if the child has no symptom and doesn't complain and you have not noticed anything abnormal, please still have your children's eyes screened at least before you take them to school.
Okay.
Because there are some things, children usually don't complain. Because before you complain as an adult that I don't see well, it's because you have seen well. So you know what is good vision. So when your vision starts to drop, you know it. But a child doesn't know. So a child might even have low vision and never complains until vision is tested. So that is why we recommend visual screening if possible. If you really can, have the children's eyes screened before they go to nursery school, before they go to primary school, and just any other time. And if the child complains of anything or if you notice anything abnormal, do not hesitate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewers. And please remember that you should love your children's eyes. Thank you for watching Chancellor's Haven. If you think this has been helpful, share with another parent to help their child too. Remember to always leave it better than you met it. See you some other time on Chancellor's Haven. Bye-bye.